Hi there everyone, Rob here with today's Western Pacific weather update. It's currently the 22nd of May 2012, and in the past 24 hours we have had our most recent tropical depression form up here in the Western Pacific. So this update is going to be concentrating on that, and also we'll take a quick look out towards China as some heavy rainfall continues to affect much of that region. But first, let's dive into this tropical system. And this is Tropical Depression 3W. Now, I first do want to note that is from JTWC and the National Weather Service out of Guam in the Marianas here. JMA still is not warning on this quite yet. They do have it stamped as a TD on their weather map. I'll show you that real quick here. Showing it here just southeast of the Marianas, moving off towards the northwest with a pressure of 1,006 HPA. Now, what this is doing is following off towards the northwest along the southwestern periphery of this high pressure off here towards the northeast. But one thing I want to mention is JMA does not have this under the tropical cyclone information section. But now let's take a look at the wind shear here and talk about what exactly is happening with this storm. It is moving off towards the northwest along that overall background flow, but along the northwestern periphery it is encountering a tut over in this region here, a tropical upward tropospheric trough. And that's kind of disturbing it a little bit, and actually you are seeing a little bit disbursement just towards the northwest. But down here towards the southeast, and especially off towards the northeast, a lower vertical wind shear is allowing for significant development. And this is actually the area where the highest amount of winds are actually being considered, about that 25 gusting up to 35 knots or about 64 kph in this northeastern quadrant as it moves off towards the northwest. And also, as it does have that very vague circulation, you always have to take into account that the right front quadrant is the windier side because it also counts into forward momentum. But at this time, a very vague circulation, just like I stated, and actually quite hard to tell. Now this is looking at ASCAT imagery, and this is just showing the direction of the waves on the surface here. And it is a polar orbiter, so you don't really get a clear pass all the time, but you do see somewhat of a cyclonic circulation just towards the south of Guam. While next rad out of Guam actually shows kind of a mesovortice just south of Guam. You see the circulation right in here. It's very weak at that, and this isn't where the center of circulation is being indicated, but there is this little cyclonic vortice. Thus, this system has been called a monsoonal gyre. It's very disorganized, and actually several vortices are popping up within it. A very complex system in most, but what this means overall is an extensive amount of rainfall. See these rain bands here just towards the southeast? Well, those are going to start pushing on shore overnight in the Guam and then going into Chamorro. And here's actually what the 24-hour forecast does look like here from the E-Trap model, and it shows actually up towards Saipan and in northern Guam, nearly 8 inches of rainfall could occur here in some locations, especially as that moisture starts to push on shore. So some heavy rainfall could be bringing some localized flooding across the Marianas, and even the risk of landslides, especially in some of these steeper elevations across the Big Island towards the south. Before pushing off towards the north and eventually the northwest, and eventually the north, this is actually looking at the GFS UK and NOGAMS model. Both of them are, really all of them are kind of dispersed on the exact location where this is going to end up, but they all do agree that eventually that northerly curve, as that cold front eventually kicks in out of the west, it's just off the screen here towards the left, and part of a system that's bringing some heavy rain showers across much of Japan today. And if we pull back the satellite picture and look at the complete Western Pacific, you can see it much more clear. This big band of clouds pushing here away from the southern Japanese islands, actually out towards Iwatoa at this time. This is going to act like a plow into Tropical Depression 03W here. So once those two meet, this will likely get dispersed very quickly, veer off towards the north, and eventually off towards the northeast, becoming extratropical rather quickly. So let's take a look at the forecast actually from the National Weather Service out of Guam now. And you can see all these factors in the play. That system moving just south of Guam, bringing heavy rain showers in the right front quadrant of the Marianas here as it moves off here towards the south. Then once you go into Tuesday and eventually in the Wednesday, off towards the north. And by Wednesday evening, it actually starts to hit that cold front and eventually takes off very quickly off towards the north, bringing some hefty winds with it. Could be gusting upwards of 70 miles per hour way off there towards the north, about 60 knots. Not quite a typhoon though, just below typhoon status before it goes extratropical and runs off towards the north. So if anybody put their bets in for late May on the Typhoon Challenge, it does look like you might not get it, but you never know. The system is very disorganized, but could gather really quickly. See surface temperatures definitely do support it, so we will continue to watch this going in the next 24 hours. But now let's actually look very quickly off towards the west, because in southern China you have been seeing a crazy amount of rainfall causing widespread flooding, and this is actually a look at CMA's website and their latest update on these heavy rains, and it does look like in the next 24 hours they could possibly see upwards of 50 to 100 millimeters here around Hong Kong in the Guangdong province, and even off there towards the north along the Yangtze River, additional 100 millimeters of rainfall. So definitely is bringing a severe risk of some flooding. That's all for right now, everybody. Thanks again for watching here at westernpacificweather.com. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, as always, please post them in the comment box below. And one more thing I do want to note, just a reminder that our forecasts here at Western Pacific Weather are not official forecasts. If you are in the Guam or anywhere in the Marianas, do tune in with the National Weather Service out of Guam for the official forecast coming out of that region. All right, have a great day.